About time the Pacers showed a comeback win. It's been a whole month. They win their Summer League debut game with a 16-point comeback against the Cavs. Quenton Jackson was terrific. RayJ Dennis was awesome. Pre-injury, Johnny Furphy showed some stuff. So much to get to on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Congrats. You made it through the week, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, so much to get to from another crazy Pacers comeback. They waited a full 4 weeks this time between them. I mean, it just keeps happening. 16 points down in the first half against the Cavs. They come back to win again, beating Cleveland to open Summer League. Summer League's not about the results, although, of course, they came back and won, right? Of course, the Pacers did. It's more about the individuals, and there was a lot of stuff to talk about there, too. Quenton Jackson, right after signing a two-way, was just absolutely sublime, approaching too good for Summer League territory. RayJ Dennis looked great, one of his best games I've seen. Furphy was doing some stuff before he got hurt. Lots of good things to talk about from individuals for the Pacers on a fun night for them, right? Isaac Jacob, their head coach, good relationship with Tyrese Haliburton. Obviously, they came from Sacramento, both. Got drenched with the water after the win. It was his first win. Quenton Jackson's leading the charge on that. So he's doing post-game media, just completely soaked for a very excited Pacers team. But Quenton Jackson, who led that part of things, he's the vet of this team, right? He's almost 27. This is his fourth Summer League or something like that. Just signed his third two-way with the Pacers, right? He's like a leader for this team, and I wondered how he would start Summer League, because last year he was quite bad in the first game and was good the rest of them. And when you look at this team, they need him to be a scorer initiator type, and I just wondered, what that would look like playing with other guards. Like Cam Jones is playing, RayJ Dennis is playing, other ball handlers hit the floor in this game. Buddy Boeheim played, Steven Ashworth played quite well in his 9 minutes, right? Like I wondered what they would need from Quenton Jackson, and he was just absolutely sensational in every single way, right? He's not like young. He's not in this developing talent pool for the Pacers when you look at their Summer League group. But what I talked about with him earlier in the week, something I wonder, and I'm going to expand on that a little here, is if they signed him to a two-way, thinking he could be their third point guard this season, but just fill in when there's an injury to McConnell or Nembhard, and they might only need him for 50 games on that two-way. I should also say this, like, it's possible that they just keep Freeman and Dennis and Peter on a two-way and then just convert Quenton Jackson to a standard deal at some point. Like, he's still playing for something in theory. He is just under contract with the team now, which is deserved. He's very good. And you can see in these games just what the appeal is of him. The same it's always been, right? This guy is just so fast with the ball. And in these Summer League settings where the team defense isn't quite as tight, and the individual defenders aren't quite as good, he can just get by anybody, and he can get into the lane and create a shot that he likes or that his team likes. And so it wasn't like a slow start necessarily. It just wasn't quite, as loud in the first half for Quenton Jackson, but he just took off in the third quarter and ended up having what I would consider, and I think anybody who watches the game would consider, the best performance by any Pacer in this game by a healthy amount, and was so good by the end of the night, right? 24 points, his final tally in this one, on 8 for 10 from the field, 3 assists as well. All 7 of his free throws dropped, and really came alive after halftime. In the first half, Quenton Jackson took 3 shots and he had 8 points. Like, it was fine. He was 2 for 3. He made all 4 of his foul shots, but a little quieter. 16-point second half on 6 for 7 from the field, made all 3 of his foul shots. All 3 of his assists came in that second half. In the third quarter specifically, was 12 of those points. He made all 5 of his shots in the third quarter. Like, it was a team level comeback. A lot of it, like, I don't even think Quenton was on the floor for one particular stretch where their defense really ratcheted up, but he was often on the floor for their best offensive stretches of the second half. Really brought the team to life and showed why he is a veteran player playing Summer League, that he should be one of the best players on the floor, right? That a guy with his experience level should be awesome, and he was just terrific for the Pacers in this game, and in ways that you'd hope he is if you're the Pacers, right? You want his best skills to be so much better than anyone else on the floor. And, and I watched a lot of the games. I was at the first half of Pelicans Timberwolves. I was at the Flag Bronny game. I saw some of Nuggets Bucks. Like, I could argue that on the first day of Summer League in Vegas, Quenton Jackson was one of the best 5 players, in any game, that was played. He was that good, and he should be at his experience level. But I think it was great for the Pacers to see that, especially right after he signed a deal. And then he leads with the vibes, and they were joking about calling him LA because he's just got this LA vibe that everybody likes, his spirit. Raptors signing a 2A. Great day for him. And the way my credentialing works, I can just share interview stuff on this podcast. So here is RayJ Dennis and then Quenton Jackson talking about Quenton's performance and him signing a 2A.
He signed a 2A a couple days ago. What did you learn from him, both with the Mad Ants and Pacers last year?
Being around him all the time, you just his personality bigger than life, right? So you just naturally going to have a ton of energy. You're going to bring energy to practice, games, everything like that. And then just being a dog. Obviously, I see the way he plays, and when you're around that type of stuff, it's contagious.
What did that mean to you to sign a 2A again, be back for another year?
Oh, man, that's nothing short of a blessing. A lot of work has went into it, but I can't, just put all of it on me. A lot comes from the trust of my teammates, the coaching staff, front office, all of that. So, I'm forever grateful. Like I said, nothing short of a blessing.
Very revealing. Quenton Jackson just does have an infectious personality, and that bleeds into the way he plays, right? Led by example in so many ways as a scorer in this one. Really, really fantastic night. 8 for 10 from the field, and 24 points on 10 shots is just menacing. Really efficient game from him. Made his only 3. Did a ton of stuff really well. And I think my favorite play from him in the game was he was defending. I can't remember who it was that was posting him up on the Cavs. It might have been Naquan Tomlin. I might just be saying that because Tomlin was so good in general. But somebody was posting up Quenton Jackson, and he really battled in the post on defense, and he kept fighting, and the guy got off the ball. He couldn't get low enough to get a shot up. And Quenton Jackson was so psyched about his post defense that he started flexing and celebrating the stop under the basket. Play is still happening. The Cavs are still running offense, and his teammates are still defending, and he's just standing there flexing under the basket. The Pacers did get a stop. It was very funny. He was absolutely sensational. A+ start to Summer League for Quenton Jackson, and you shouldn't be expected to be this good, but it's what you want to see as the Pacers. And Quenton Jackson, that he looked like the best player on the floor when he has more experience than everybody else, and is kind of in a leadership role in some ways for the first time. This is the first Summer League he's played where he's expected to be the best player on the team, and he no doubt about it was in this one. But he was joined in the backcourt by a player that I don't think people didn't expect to be good because he has 1 year of experience under his belt and is literally under contract with the Pacers. But I don't think people think of RayJ Dennis as some offensive monster scorer. He was in this game, right? RayJ Dennis, I don't know if many listeners know a lot about him because he signed with the Pacers mid-season and didn't play as much for them last year because of that, because he was on his 2A, couldn't play in their magical playoff run, right? But they brought him in and they liked him right after they waived Tristan Newton on their 2A in early January of this year. And he came in and everybody I talked to about him who had dealt with him prior to him coming to the Pacers was oh, I love this kid. Love this kid. And they all said he makes his teammates better. And that, he really is all about that passing stuff. And he had 9 assists in this game. Right, that was on display. He is a good table-setting point guard. He's just so active, right? That's what impresses me is he obviously has the stats to have a nice night. There's so many things he did really well, but he was just everywhere. He got an offensive rebound, gets on a drive, drawing a bunch of fouls early in this game. He took 7 free throws. This was a crazy foul game, 62 fouls between both teams. But his activity was really high. And so to not only see passing from a guy that's been described to me as a really good passer and making his teammates better in that way, RayJ Dennis was awesome as a scorer in this game. He has, I don't know if it's a signature shot when you're a second-year player, but his thing to me that I think of when I think of him scoring the ball is this floater that he gets to a lot. He gets a couple, a half step on his defender, gets in the paint, and he puts that up. He was making those. He was sticking some tougher threes in this game. He took 8 threes and made 4 of them. Obviously, your game's going to look good when you make that many shots, but he also made 4 twos, made 6 free throws. Just a really, really impressive all-around RayJ Dennis game, and I don't know that fans have really seen one of those from him. He had some/many with Mad Ants, but he hadn't had Enrique Freeman was playing in real games for the Pacers last year, right, given their center situation. Quenton Jackson played in many real games for the Pacers last year. I don't know if RayJ Dennis played in a game where they were like, they needed him in the rotation, maybe one or two, but he didn't have that kind of lasting impression. So a lot of people, this is the first like major real minutes they saw from him. And I have not, like, I've seen him be a good scorer before. I've seen 20-point games from him in Madden's games before. I've never seen that level. And that's kind of something I wanted to ask about after the game is like, where did that part of it come from for him? Because, I think of him as that guy who makes everybody else better and is that offensive engine. He was looking to score in this game, and he just talked about, when the game needs that, that's what he'll bring. The aggression's there, and he was really good. I also asked head coach Isaac Jacob about him because I thought that was a big part of this as well. I wanted to hear the head coach on RayJ Dennis, and he said something about him being quite good leading up to this game.
RayJ had a lot of successful plays as well. What'd you like about what he was able to do out there?
Yeah, RayJ coming in his second summer league, like all camp, he's been one of our better players. Can't get sped up, almost a veteran in some ways of summer league, and I thought he took another step in his development.
So many players were good. We'll talk about more of them, but the story of this game, the point guards, the guards leading the way. So much more to get to from Pacers Summer League Game 1, the comeback, the Furphy, the good and the bad, the rest of it. So much more still to come here on Locked On Pacers. Before we get to any of it, we got to talk about Game Time. If you decided last minute you want to go to the ball game with friends or family, maybe it's game day. You suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, on drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it all possible because buying tickets there is fast and simple, and prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch. They've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. It's the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, and it's easy to browse the app for an exciting MLB game coming up. They have last-minute tickets and zone deals, so you can get 10% off exclusive zone deals for the FIFA World Cup matchups, Club World Cup matchups, Seat views right in the app before you buy, so you know exactly what you'll see when you get there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, to create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We're back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day. Locked On Cavs, your second listen. So you can hear Danny Cunningham talk about the other side of this game. I'm sure the Cavs had some deja vu, the comeback loss against the Pacers, but the players they would hope to be good. Jalen Tyson was pretty good in this game. Naquan Tomlin on a two-way for them last year was quite good. Craig Porter Jr. barely played and was like, yep, got it. Good player, +9 in his 6.5 minutes. Tyrese Proctor got to make more shots than he did. Danny Cunningham will have more on Locked On Cavs. Okay. Other stuff from this game that was fun or interesting or made me go, Johnny Furphy. Great some things and bad some things. The bad something is that he got hurt. Apparently the broadcast called it a non-contact injury, and that freaked a lot of people out. It was not a non-contact injury at all. He got elbowed in the face so bad, right in the eye, I think, and he left the court right in front of me. Like they have to walk right past our media seats to get to their little locker room in the back. And he was walking. Like he was with the trainer, but he was walking. His muscles are fine. I was told it was a non-serious injury. Isaac Jacob confirmed that afterwards. No long-term concerns, but he got blasted in the eye. So he only played 9 minutes in the game. It was very funny because the way the setup works, they have like these curtained off locker rooms for the teams. They're not like actually lockers. And so the Pacers one's off to the side. And I wasn't even looking, but I could like see movement out of the corner of my eye right before halftime. Under the bleachers, it was Johnny Furphy leaning back to try to see the scoreboard around the curtain back there. So I think the long-term prognosis is fine there. It did stink because I said and still think that he is the most interesting and important player for the Pacers in this summer experience, learning what he can be, how he can grow, what else does he bring to the table, because he did a lot of stuff that was interesting last season, but the shot making wasn't quite there. In this game, 2 threes. Good on 3 attempts, made his only 2-point shot on a lovely drive, and he was driving early very impressively. He had a drive and finish for the Pacers' literal first points of the game, and then a couple of possessions later had a drive where he actually drew defenders and kicked it out and hit RayJ Dennis for a 3. Like he was showing real growth, and he added these 20 pounds, and he doesn't like look more like way more filled out or anything. He doesn't look scrawny or anything like he did last year at times. But you can tell the way that a year of experience and actual bodily growth has like helped him read the game better. Like there was a play he had where the ball was thrown his way and his man tried to gamble to steal the ball, and he caught it and turned and just boom, he's going to the cup. And like I think Furphy was pretty good last year in summer league. Like he was dunking and doing all this stuff, but I didn't think of his like reads of the game as so fast and sharp. Like that stuff was better. The rim pressure was there. And he's always been more physical than his stature looks. He's always been pretty good on the glass. He didn't have any rebounds in this game, but just the nose for the ball kind of stuff. The 3 turnovers, he'll want to have that back. Like he had some sloppy handle stuff diving on the floor. But I thought in general it was a very nice start to Summer League for him in terms of showing off better play, better use of his body, just the stuff that he hopes he can do this season, even if it was only 9 minutes. And those 9 minutes went terrible for the Pacers. Their defense early in this game, especially their team transition defense, we'll talk about this more later, was dreadful. That makes a lot of guys' numbers look worse than they really were. But offensively, a really, really solid start for Johnny Furphy, driving early, driving often, and driving very well despite some rough defense going around. But I will hope for me to watch him play in person again. But I think the Pacers will hope that he can play on Saturday when they play the Thunder. Johnny Furphy versus the Thunder, revenge on the mind. But he was quite good to start this game. Another player who was quite good, met / exceeded expectations. There were a lot of guys on my list here who for that, or it's not that long of a list, but Philip Wheeler. So you guys might not know who this is. I did mention him for like 2 milliseconds in the lead up to Summer League podcast. Not that I thought he'd be like some impact player or anything, but he played for the Sixers last year for 5 games. He had a 10-day with them. They were like cycling through 10 days late in the season. And he shot 14% from the field and like didn't do a whole ton. But I only mention that to say, like, this guy does have NBA experience, right? He's 23, and so he knows how to play. Like, he might not be in the long-term future for the Pacers. Who knows? But he started at the 4 for them, and he was really effective. Like, energy, cut, really well-timed cuts, like fit their system pretty well. 2 blocks on defense that were kind of nice. They won his minutes by 4. He had 15 points. A crucial finish late to give the Pacers a lead as the game went back and forth in the final minutes. If you're talking about meeting or exceeding expectations, Philip Wheeler's not a guy that you're like thinking about as like, okay, run through everybody who matters short and long term for the Pacers. He ends up hitting the shot that gives the Pacers a lead at 24 seconds to go. But he played really well, and he was totally above expectation to me in a game where like some guys were, but not everybody was. So Philip Wheeler, welcome to the like, oh, interesting list for the Pacers in this game. I thought he was quite good. The other player of significance beyond the draft picks, so I want to close this out with, as well as talking about the comeback, is Enrique Freeman. It's still 2A qualifying offer hanging out there. He could be in the mix for a 2A this season. Really interesting game in that he ends the night with great stats, right? 19 points, well earned, 12 free throw attempts that he earned by battling inside. The effort is just there, right? It's going to be there all the time. Every second Enrique Freeman plays, the effort's going to be there. 5 for 9 from the field's fine. He missed both of his threes. It was 5 for 7 on twos. 7 boards is great. 3 assists is solid for a beginning. 3 assists, actually the second most of any Pacer, right? Some defensive plays, 3 stocks. Like, you look back and it's statistically awesome. It took till the fourth quarter for it to like really pop for him in this game, right? I did when I made the list of like, here's the guys that I feel like are playing at a level you'd be happy with as the Pacers. I didn't put him on there, and late he was great. He had the 2 free throws that won in the game, which was great for the Pacers and great for me because no one wants Summer League overtime. And statistically did a lot of the stuff he did well, but it didn't feel like an awesome game for him until very late. The hustle was always there though. And the play that really like made me be like, that is the Enrique Freeman play, is he's battling for a board. His shoe falls off and he jumps up with one shoe, gets a rebound between 2 defenders, kicks it out to somebody else, and doesn't even go for a shoe. Like every player naturally goes for their shoe while the play develops. He immediately like hits a man to try to set a screen and all this stuff. Like, that is the stuff that makes Enrique Freeman somebody that's like, okay, I get it. TJ McConnell always says playing hard is a skill. Freeman certainly does that. And again, he ends like, what am I saying? I watched the game and he was really good in the fourth quarter, really great in the fourth quarter. I should just pull up his fourth quarter stats, but you didn't feel him pop till late in the game. In the fourth quarter, he only had 4, 1 and 2 blocks. Like, that doesn't seem awesome, but he produced. And the effort was there, and he'd spread it out for some threes. Like, maybe I'm really overstating this, but you didn't feel like a ton of new stuff from him, even though the effort was great and the stats were great. So what I have trouble walking away with a huge takeaway there, in that he did very Enrique Freeman-y stuff, and it was just so spread out across the game. I don't know. This feels overly critical because the numbers were awesome, right? They won his minutes by 8 points, but it didn't feel like he played as well as those numbers suggest, is what I'm trying to say. But the two-way crew did produce numbers-wise. Their top 3 scorers were their guys on two-ways to close last season. And then Wheeler, who was in the NBA last year, was their only other double-digit scorer. I think Furphy would have got there if he kept playing. Let's talk about the comeback and the 2 draft picks, Taylon Peter and Cam Jones, to close out the first game of Summer League for the Pacers. Back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making the show our first listen today and every single day. Your second listen, Locked On Lakers or Locked On Mavs. I was the last game I stayed at the arena for. Bronny versus Cooper Flag. Ooh, stuff was popping. It was loud. I sat up high. I was way up in the arena. I sat low for like 2 seconds of game time and then went way up high. Adam Morris and I sat together, which was a hoot. So, okay, the comeback was very impressive for the Pacers. Their team defense early in this game was just atrocious. I mean, they had some real issues with transition defense as the Cavs scored 63 in the first half. They really turned around the second half. That third quarter, they only gave up 23 points. That's what allowed them to kind of claw back in. I think that's what the Pacers will hope to work on, to the extent that they have like a lot of practice time out here. They don't. But they were really, really struggling defensively, team defense in the first half of this game, right? 18 turnovers. They were just giving the Cavs a lot of chances. And the offensive glass was killer in this game. 29-23, the final rebounding margin. Naquan Tomlin kept getting putbacks. Chad Omier kept getting putbacks. Niang off the bench for the Cavs had up a couple. Like, they just were really swallowing up the Pacers in that way. So some easy stuff in some ways to clean up, and that transition defense and rebounding were so obviously bad that it's like 2 clear areas of focus. But it's not like with a team that's put together, to play for 3 weeks, and a team that doesn't really have a lot of size. The centers in this game were, Enrique Freeman's on the shorter side. Wheeler's definitely a 4. Robert Baker was a bench center for the Pacers in this game. He did not play well at all, right? They might have some rebounding struggles against some bigger teams, but they did find some spirit defensively in the second half, like forcing the Cavs to be more reactive with aggressive defense. The Pacers did force a good amount of steals. They had 10 steals in this game of the Cavs, 18 turnovers. That was very good. And so once they got their defense a little more in line, they still had rebounding struggles for much of the night. Like right after the Pacers' first layer of comeback, they came back from down 16, took the lead, then went back down 10 and had to erase that deficit. The second layer featured a lot of those Cavs putbacks that really made things tough for the Pacers. So a lot to clean up. Before we talk about the rookies, here's what Isaac Jacob and then Quenton Jackson said about the Pacers coming back.
Isaac, take me through the comeback, what you felt like was key in you guys turning that one around after that first
quarter.
Yeah,
earlier in camp, I talked about how, we're trying to implement what we do with the Pacers to the Summer League team, same stuff. I didn't know we were going to come back from 16 and be a dramatic Pacer win. But no, definitely. The guys stuck together. Credit to everyone that fought back, Q, Ray. Credit to Ashworth. Steven Ashworth came in. I thought it changed the game for us. We're picking up, another ball handler. They did a great job of pressuring us the whole game. I thought in the first half, we're on our heels, reacting, letting them be the aggressor. And then starting the second half, third quarter, we had stints in the first half, but mainly the third and fourth. I thought we, changed the tide and we're on our toes and they're on their heels.
That third quarter especially turned it around for you guys. And what went right for you in that quarter, and how did you guys come back after that slower start?
I think we just turned up the intensity. For the most of the first half, they had the intensity. They had the edge. They had that dog in them, and I think we just kind of, eased into the game a little bit too slow. So I think coming out of halftime, the message was just kind of, match energy, come out, play with that attitude that we know we have. And
so there's your story of the game. And now let's talk about the rookies. Cam Jones, he did play. Questions about his availability after Kevin Pritchard dropped that he was dealing with a hamstring thing. I still think, heard they're monitoring his minutes out there. He did only play 20 and a half of them in this game, right? They really spread out their guard minutes. Like, obviously a ton for RayJ Dennis. But Quenton Jackson in his awesome night, only played 26 minutes. Taylon Peter's going to be playing at the wing guard spots. Buddy Boeheim got time. Hunter Maladondo got time. Steven Ashworth got time. And a lot of those bench guys I just said at the end, were pretty good, Hunter made 2 shots, including a big 3. Steven Ashworth was, very solid out there, right? He had some turnover issues, but outside, those guys were important. So, anyway, they spread the guard minutes. Cam Jones, so this was very much like Marquette in that the stuff you saw that he can do is he's going to get in the paint, right? He is very lefty dominant, very lefty dominant. He's going to get in the paint, He's able to get by a man or like at least keep a defender on his side or hip to create some sort of advantage. And then from there, it was really interesting to see his decision making, right? Like he had a beautiful shuffling, like underhand pass to get the ball to Enrique Freeman for a dunk, right? Huge play there. But then he had like a turnover where he's trying to throw it like across the lane, left-handed, where like a right-hand dump-off pass would have been perfect, and he like didn't do it. 2 for 4 from the field, not a lot of volume there. 3 assists is fine. He only had 2 turnovers. Like he played a fine game, but he wasn't that involved. He took the fewest shots of any starter, didn't take any threes. I think it would be more fun to see him try to self-create a little bit more, even create for others a little bit more in this game, because he had some smooth drives in the lane where it was like, oh, okay, clearly something's there. He can finish. He goes for that floater every so often. Like, that's good. That's what you want to see. But it wasn't always there all the time. And I think a little bit more from him in terms of reps would be nice, because the Pacers are trying to figure out what he is, but they're also, again, there's a hamstring thing going on here. So not a lot of lowlights or highlights for him in this game, but the smoothness in the lane, the ability to get into the paint all the time on a team with lots of guards, I think stood out to me more than anything. Taylor Peter, really interesting. Like saw the athleticism with the dunks. I think he had 2 of them. One was a leak out in transition and one was on a cut. So he was 4 for 5 from the field. His only miss was a 3. Like the 3-point shot is something that made him such an interesting halfway and very endearing statistical prospect. He only had 1 turnover, right? 3 rebounds, 2 steals. The defense of Taylor Peter was probably among the rookies the standout thing in this game. He was standing guys up. He had a really good defensive rep on Jalen Tyson, and I don't remember who his steal was against late that he leaked out and dunked on, but that was another one where I was like, whoa, what a play. He led the team in plus minus, and he was just happening to be on the floor for a lot of their best stretches, but like he contributed a lot with his defensive play in this game. It was frustrating to me as somebody who was so interested in his efficiency that he passed up a ton of open threes. And we talked to Quenton Jackson after the game, and he was trying to tell us how he explained to the rookies that they need to, just try to play their game and do the best they can and not be thinking so much. Like you could tell Taylor Peter was thinking a lot with how much he was just getting off the ball when he had openings. And then the only 3 he took was like kind of tough. I would have liked to see him attempt more of those in rhythm threes that he had some chances to take. Didn't really do it, alas. But I thought he was overwhelmingly solid. Like he didn't mess up a lot. He knew what he was doing. Defensively, outside of those like one-on-one reps that went pretty well, you could tell when he got hit by a screen or had to rotate, like it was certainly let's say a level up in talent from playing in Conference USA, where his ability to wiggle around a screen, his ability to find his way into the lane and be a team defender were not quite there. But overall, I thought he had a solid game. So most of the players who the Pacers were hoping would be good or solid in this game were, right? Most of their bad performers were not the players that you'd have a long-term future or maybe they will, but are of critical note for the Pacers in this summer league game. Their defense, again, awful. Like there was a play in this game, the Cavs ran a pick and roll, and at the same time they're in this pick and roll, a player cuts from the weak side slot, and the Pacers defense, both the roll man and the cutter, were both wide open, rolling through the lane. Like the Cavs could have had them just pass it back and forth 100 times. It was like, man, they can't keep anybody out of the paint. Their defense really had to pick stuff up in the second half, and they did. They got good play from their returnees. The draft picks showed some stuff. There's obviously quite a bit to work on for the Pacers, but 1-0 is 1-0. Off they go, but some stuff clearly to work on. I'm still here for the second game on Saturday, so plenty more to come on the Summer Pacers. And, of course, we'll break down every game here, but it's more fun to be there when I can really see and hear guys and, hear RayJ Dennis go, let's go to his teammates and all that, this kind of stuff. You just see who people are really well in these settings and learn a lot about the team. Tomorrow, we'll see what Friday's podcast is all about, but Miles Turner's presser with the Bucks is on Friday, and it's actually here in Vegas, so I should be able to be there giving you guys whatever he said, his version of events of his departure from the Pacers and any other things that may pop up. Saturday, of course, the Pacers play. At some point, I presume, given how the Pacers framed it, Isaiah Jackson will resign. Still a lot to come here on the Locked On Pacers podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Tony R. East. You can find this podcast at Locked On Pacers on both Twitter and Instagram. Thank you all so much for listening. Back tomorrow talking more Pacers. Till then, everybody, have a wonderful day.